I'm gonna start recording now, actually, and do that. Patrick, can you hear us? Okay.
I do know. Yeah, hey,
Oh,
how's it?
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
How's it going? How's it going over there?
doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing well. Yeah, just
Good.
hopping in. It's been a good week. Just staying busy and stuff. But yeah, man, are things slowing down a bit for you now? I know you've had a busy month. It sounds like.
Yeah, I just been kind of just like rearranging around things in my place and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, just trying to get on a more consistent schedule here.
Cool. Okay. And you've been setting up your home studio. You were saying I like the sound
Mm-hmm.
panels and stuff.
I put this in last week and got some other stuff. I'm trying to move out and organize.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that definitely helps. Your chair looks very comfortable too, by the way.
It is.
It looks very comfortable. I want one. But okay, cool. We can jump in here then. So I have basically for this next hour, I'm gonna have Johnny here jump in, and he's gonna just share about his process with soundscaping, using samples, a little bit of like string layering, basically some like more advanced production stuff that I'm gonna actually use, later on, but it's for now as well. And regardless of what stage that you're in with production, this is just really cool to watch him do because it'll show you where you're headed if you haven't gotten here quite yet, and also inspire you because yeah, just a little introduction for Johnny. We worked together at Elevation while I was there, and his day job there is actually to Soundscape to create music for their videos and trailers. But yeah, that's him by day, but by night he works on a ton of sync stuff. He's been getting just insane traction, like more traction, honestly, than I've ever seen for anyone else in the industry. He just has been producing for artists, and that's grown. He's built connections in the industry. So right now, he's working with like major artists in the sync world for sync agencies. He's essentially, yeah, he's getting more and more work through a company called Honestly Good Music. They're well known in the sync world as one of like the top agencies you could be with. And another, yeah, you could tell him a bit more, but
Yeah.
that's a brief introduction.
Yeah. You're making me sound better than I am, but I appreciate it.
No.
um, I will be the first to always preface anytime I ever talk to anyone of like, I don't know what I'm doing at all, ever. Um, I met with my agency a couple weeks ago and I had that conversation with her. I was like, hey, I need you to know, like, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, whatever that is, just keep doing that. And I think it was just kind of a testament of like, we all struggle through the what the hell am I doing? What's my sound? What's my identity? All that stuff. And it's like, that's fine. If you don't know what you're doing, that's sometimes to your advantage. So, but yeah, I didn't start producing trailers until last year. It's almost been a year now. October is when I started. Um, I made my first trailer. I don't know, again, didn't know what I was doing. And I just sent it out to some people. And out of that, I got signed to three agencies in January off of that one trailer. And then they just, honestly, Good Music has been the one that's just set me up with so many rights over this year. But and then I actually just got my first TV placement. It'll be tomorrow on Love Is Blind, trailerized
Nice.
version of a song that I did. So yeah, it's funny how it works. But
Nice. What
yeah,
song was it that you got?
it's called Down the Rabbit Hole. It's on
Okay.
Spotify now. I think she just released it. An artist named Kendra Dantes and
Okay.
um, her writing collab partner Mystic Femmes, I believe, is the other name.
Mystic Thems. Okay.
Great team, great songwriters. But yeah, so like I said, Logan made me sound really really cool, and I'm not that cool. I just am having fun and have not been doing it for this long. I've not been doing this for that long. I started in 2020 is when I picked up music production because I was like, I knew music. I was in a band. I got signed to Tooth and Nail Records when I was like back in 2005, 2007. I toured and did, the record stuff for 8 years, 200 dates a year, two studio records and all that stuff. So then I kind of put music down and then when I hit 33 years old, I was like, holy crap, I should have learned how to produce. I am an idiot. What did I waste all of my 20s doing? Nothing. Okay, great. So COVID allowed me to kind of take that, and I showed some people at work, and through that, they were like, all right, well, you just started doing this, so why do you want a job doing it? And I was like, no, give me a job. And then they didn't give me a job. And then 2 years later, they were like, all right, you can try doing this full time. And so then it's been like 3 years of that, just doing audio full time. So I have not been doing this very long,
What
but
artists have you worked with lately?
then I'm pumped about
Yeah.
all of them. One artist I really love, Madeline Duke. I love working with her. We just did one song that was great. Malin, I really love working with this artist named Malin. Her and I've got
Mhm.
a lot of songs together. Um, Nicole Serrano has been great. I work with the rapper Manifest a lot. I would say he's probably like the main collab. We probably have a song going every week.
Mhm.
Um, so, dude, they're all so good. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
every time I sit down in a room with these people, I'm like, I don't know why I'm sitting. I don't know how I got here, but these
Yeah.
people are fantastic.
What's your main tell us about the main genre that you're working in right now?
Yeah. So, uh, I the first artist I started working with on my agency was a guy named Ryan Kinder, who is a country artist. And he kind of we just started doing this more like not folk trailer, but in that like swampy kind of southern Yellowstone vibes.
Mhm.
And I just really enjoyed it. So I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so I try to take that approach into a lot of my uh, collabs right now.
Mhm.
Um, there's a few. Usually, I get a lot of the things I do is like trailer covers, and so my agency will send me out. Here's 5 songs we want you to chase down, and I'll connect with the artist that I think will go best with them. And then um, with those covers, I've just been doing a lot of this. Like you'll hear it here. It's almost like you know, not it's not country, but uh, Johnny Cash, that song "Hurt." A lot of that.
Yeah.
I'm loving that mixed with the trailer world. So I
Mm.
don't know. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool taking a song that's familiar and then just kind of making it your own. And you do that really well. So,
Thanks, man. And that's dude, half the battle is done for you, like a great song's already been written. You don't got to work hard on that. You just got to figure out the production of it, and that's fun. You're
mhm.
not worrying about lyrics, you're not worrying about melody and chord, and you have the freedom to mess with all that too, which is really great when you're doing this. This song that we worked on that I'm going to show is if when you hear the original versus that, you're like, oh, that's not even in the same like ballpark there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, do you want to just open up
yeah.
one of your
So
sessions and talk
so
us through
this
it?
is so this is a song called "Ain't Seen Nothing Yet" by the band Bachman Turner Overdrive. Does
Okay.
anyone know that song? Anyone? No.
Sounds familiar.
Um, can you hear my Spotify if I play it?
You'll have to share your screen first, and then I think we
If I put
can.
it on this screen?
Yeah. Yeah, just share your screen and then audio, and then yeah, it should work. Just click the high fidelity as well.
You hear that?
Mm-mm.
Yep.
You
I
did?
was able to. I was able to.
Oh, you can hear it. Interesting.
But you can't hear it, Logan?
Oh, I needed to switch the screens over. Go ahead and try it
Oh.
again. Oh yeah. Here.
You guys hear it? You're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
And I know the song.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
So that's the song. And so I like to work with pictures, so I usually rip something off YouTube, which don't put this on YouTube if you're recording. You're not supposed to do that. But I rip them and then I just drop them in, and it kind of helps you build that kind of sonic soundscape. You can,
Yeah.
I don't know, it sounds weird, but like you can know what color your, music should be. If you're seeing dark yellows and tan on screen, well then your music needs to sound like that, and you need to get into that with more acoustics and more organic sounds and tactile things. And so but if you're seeing like Aquaman, you're gonna have things be a little more hybrid. So I like to watch what I'm doing, just even if it's something like this. So here's that song.
I met a devil woman. She took my heart away. Said I had it coming to me, but I wanted it that way. I think any loving's good loving, so I took what I could get. She looked at me with big brown eyes. She said, you ain't seen nothing yet. 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 And now I'm feeling better, 'cause I found out for sure. She took me to a doctor. The doctor told me of a cure. Said any love is good love. You ain't seen nothing.
There it goes.
Wow. Man, that evokes so much emotion, especially seeing it with the video there.
Yeah, hopefully, it gets picked up one day. We just
Yeah.
submitted.
Bro, that's sick.
Thank you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So yeah, that's the kind of the fun part of doing trailers is there's no rules. I mean, there's rules. There's rules. It's got to be like 3 acts it kind of breaks into, and then you got to have certain elements. But you can, with covers, there's so much of yourself I feel like you can put into a cover, which is really great. And that was kind of one thing I always like to keep and try is like, well, I play acoustic very mediocrely, so how much of that can I sneak in to everything that I do? So that's
I liked it
usually
though. I
how
liked how it opened with that raw, swampy acoustic style, folky acoustic.
Yeah, let's just play it on a guitar. It's missing a string, and
Well, they'll never
nothing.
know.
They'll never know.
Well, walk us through just
Yeah,
some of the layering and how you just built this out. Like maybe you
yeah,
want to start with like the drums and work your way down from like
yeah.
left to
Okay.
right. And
Well, here, if we're going how it started, it was just that acoustic.
okay.
Is
So you
literally how
started with
this.
the acoustic, and did you just play the acoustic all the way through to create that like arrangement for the song?
Um, no, actually, the funny thing is with this one, I only played that part right here. And I do all my sessions are remote like this, and so I'm just playing it in a like didn't know really where we wanted to go with it. I kind of had this like vague idea, and then once I picked up the guitar, I played that. She was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Yeah.
So I was like, "What if you just flip the melody and kind of sing it whatever comes naturally to you?" And so as I was playing that, she's just like, whatever, and I was like, "Oh, that's fantastic." Yes. And then once we caught that vibe, I beatboxed the rest of it on voice memo, like I built the rest of the song out on like I was like devil woman ta 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 ba 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 da da dum dum ka da, and then kind of built it from there with the kind of voice memo in my hand or whatever.
Okay.
So that's
What
kind
was
of how it
the
started. So
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
once we did that, then it's kind of building the soundscape of like, all right, where does this world want to live?
Yeah.
So we started with this bass here. It's like real dirty, and you kind of wouldn't expect it. I think this is actually my Moog grandmother that I played here, and just held a latch note
Hmm.
and didn't really do anything else to it.
Was
And
that
then
just like an analog Moog that you used, or was it like a VST?
this grandmother right here? This
Oh,
little
I see it
lady.
back there. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I did the same thing over here with this drone.
It's all just drones. That's crazy.
These are just drones right here that I made. Normally I run them through. I have pedals over here that I'll run drones through, and then I'll kind of flip them around and do weird stuff to them. But once I got those low ends in, then I went for texture, and I think texture is always important when you're building these soundscapes of like, if I take this away, all that air's gone now.
Right. It's
But
adding
if
the
I
top end.
I put it back.
What
Now you
BSD
have-
are you using for that Omni synth?
So this synth right here is called Distinction by Blex Audio. Honestly, it was one of those Instagram ads that got me. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and
Okay.
I love checking those out, man, because you kind
They
of
like to
find
get
some,
you.
well, you kind of find some weird stuff in there that you're like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. So did that, and then that's really all this beginning is with the guitar. Oh, and then this. What's this guy doing? This is probably doing something completely nonsensical.
Oh, it's like a sub bass there.
It might not be. It might be mislabeled. Let's see, what is it?
Oh yeah, it's very subtle in the background.
Yeah. So this is just like, again, me saying I don't know what I'm doing. If you look at the MIDI, I'm just smashing MIDI in until it sounds cool to me. Like there's no, I didn't probably quantize this at all.
No.
Yeah, nothing's on the grid. But in context,
Could get better
Mute the vocal.
devil woman.
all right.
She took my heart away.
And then, okay, these are important. Your booms over here, and that's just these guys. I just kind of put a little shaping of EQ on there.
Okay.
And then these whoosh risers are always good to have to build right here. These these drum hits by Keep Forest are really great.
Is that a
Keep
sample pack or what is that?
It's a whole like VST company, and they've got a lot of great stuff.
Okay. Keep
Um,
Forest, you said?
Keep Forest.
Nice.
And then we have this lap steel guitar from Ink Audio that I use, which is really great.
Oh,
This is
lap
actually,
steel.
yeah. And then I just bend it on like, the mod wheel. It's got a little bit of pitch shift on there. Turned it down a whole like step. Put it at 63,
Okay.
and then put a little saturation on there.
Okay, yeah.
And then
Give it some grit.
without. So that's by itself.
Mm.
And that just kind of helps it cut through. And
It adds that tension right there.
yeah.
Suspense.
It's just kind of barely there, So that's, and then another important thing in this genre, I almost forgot, is piano stabs. Like these things are kind of giving a lot of that body.
Oh yeah, like a Johnny Cash low
Yeah.
note that just sustains.
But without it, like,
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
huge difference. So piano stabs, couple bass drones, acoustic, and acoustic. I'm just using this stereo mic. I've got an SSL. Again, I just turn knobs till it sounds like something I feel like is all right. Something I would be able to show Logan and be like, "Hey, does this sound okay?" I'd go to
Sounds
work
good.
the next day and be like, "Hey, man, I don't know." I mean, you can attest more than anyone how many times I've come to you on like after a weekend of making music, and I'm like, "Dude, what am I doing with this?"
No, I remember. No, it's so fun though. Yeah, what is your acoustic tune to? Is that a down-tuned kind of tuning?
I don't know.
Detuned tuning?
It sounds like drop D.
Yeah, is that drop D?
Yeah.
Probably. You write a lot of songs in drop D.
I try because a lot of the female vocalists I work with can sing really well in that. And D minor, or I try to write in D minor, and then I can still play the open string because F always works for them too.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so very simple on this. Once we start getting into here with the bigger drums, it gets a little crazy. But let's
What was
go
that kick hit in the beginning though? That drop.
boom.
Yeah, the boom. Was that just a sample you found or?
This one.
Yeah. Yeah, where did you get that?
So this is from Ava Music is what they're called. Ava Music, and they do a lot of great trailer sounds. Them, Keep Forest are two that I use a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, if you need some good impacts, check that
You just
out.
dropped it down on the grid there.
Yeah, I just pull it from over here. All my effects or all my packs.
Nice.
Yeah, and then so we kind of get into this part. So a lot of that is obviously drums. These drums right here are doing a big bulk of the work.
Oh, the damage drums. Yeah. Jeez. So you have some layers. You have like 1, 2, 3, 4.
So there's a lot of layers. When you're
like
doing
6 layers.
Yeah. When you're doing this type of music, you're gonna want a little bit of everything. So with this, I got damage going on right here. This might be damage again, unless this is called Devastator. And then he's got some. This is from Keep Forest. This has got some just nasty sounds in there. So that's going. And then this Ferrum gives it some nice top end, kind of this airy sound.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
that helps, when a lot of these things are playing on our phones and small speakers. So you need some top end to cut through, because no one's going to hear if you keep everything on the low end, even though it's big in trailer music and you want it to be like, boomy, you still got to hear it on small speakers. And so this kind of helps with that.
Right. So it sounds like it's just one drum happening, but it's actually just a layer.
That's without. You can hear without. Like, this is without the top end. Now here's with.
It hits way harder.
It's way harder. Yeah. You
Very
want
cool.
That top end. So those are drums. And then with Brams, there's if you don't know what Brams are, these are Brams.
We can all thank Inception for that.
Yeah. So that's giving a lot of it too. And again, just cutting out some of those frequencies that I don't really want, making room for the drums to not clash. And then usually you want to do a call and response with Brams and all that stuff. So like these together are doing just that.
Taking away a lot of the high frequencies right there, because it's a lot of low. You really want to beef up the low right there.
Yes. Yeah. I want to get rid of this, because I also want those drums to poke through above over there.
Right.
And I don't want too much of that Bram, because without it, these things get real bitey. Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying. It's kind of harsh.
just kind of, and it gives it more of the organic feel to me than like really hybrid. And I wanted this to have an organic, like you were out there in the West or something sound. And I know that's not a sound you'd hear out there, but we can pretend.
Like less like electronic sounding.
Yeah, less electronic, a little dulled down. And then this comes after it, which together, it just sustains it a little bit after. Otherwise, it's kind of boring.
And that's from the same VST library, those two sounds.
Yeah, and what's great is these come with waves. So you go in here, let's say I want, I'll just go in and let's see, just type in my Brams. I gotta be able to know how to spell it though. I think that's actually the one right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just find the one that's in the key of D.
Yeah. Or if
Cool.
not, just option up arrow and change the key or whatever. So that's the Bram section. And then risers help everything move, obviously. Downers are always great. And then these risers kind of take us to jump over the cliff there.
Right.
So
and you automated those, it looks like, so they fade in a little better.
Yeah, I just fade them in with a little bit of literally just the fade tool. I try not to do too much. Oh, I did do a little with volume there, but yeah, I kind of changed it a little bit as it went on.
Nice.
So that's that. Any questions on these two parts? I don't know if this is even interesting to anyone at all, but
yeah, this is awesome. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask about that. Then we'll just do more stuff or show more stuff, and then we'll do more questions.
I also have other sessions too. If you're like, yeah, we got it, we can also look at other ones if we get bored with this one. But we get into the fun stuff of this. Well, at least I think it's fun.
Oh yeah.
So these parts were always this was the toughest part for me to nail when I was learning how to do trailer music, was how to make it massive. Once
Yeah.
I figured out drums, I was like, oh, it kind of makes a little more sense. But adding, all these hits in there that are a little different. So that's just kind of, call and response drum beat that you mess around with, and then bass subs, or
Oh, you have a lot of layers for bass there too.
I do. I know everyone's like, that's a no-no, but I do it anyway. Why not?
Well, walk us through like why did you choose to layer the bass that way?
So I do this because Jack Antonoff, the guy who produces everything for Taylor Swift, said it was okay, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it, man. He does it, I'm gonna do it. If it's good enough for Taylor Swift, it's good enough for me. No, he did this video, and he was like, man, I really like the way this low bass sounds on, like, he's playing bass, and he's like, oh, I like the way this Juno sounds, and then he liked the way this other, and he's like, who says you can't have three basses? I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, man, who says? Like,
That's true. That is kind of a misconception or thing people think.
Yeah, we saw Hans Zimmer live a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, dude, one time there was 4 bass players playing once, and I'm like, okay, so this is just a myth that you have too much bass.
Yeah. If it sounds good, then it's fine.
Yeah. So here's what this bass is doing. This is my sub. It's got some saturation on it. And I'm not telling you guys this as if I'm the pro at low end. I am not. I send everything away to mix to a guy in Nashville that takes care of all my stuff, and I'm like, whatever you do, he smooths it out, and it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But I just give him all this.
It looks like you have a low sub, and then kind of like more of a mid-range sub.
Yeah.
There.
And then with this, I could probably honestly have cut more here.
You're cutting it like around 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I have another one.
That's like a little higher too, higher ranged.
Yeah. And then I like this guy, this mix head. Serban this mix guy that does like Gracie Abrams, Olivia Rodrigo, all these great artists.
Okay.
He endorsed this plugin right here, mix head, and it's just this digital tape saturation on there. It's real nice.
Nice.
So that's on there. And then if you want everything to sound big and trailer, you need some brass.
Yeah.
True. This low brass is by Keep Forest. Imagine that. And it's just playing.
But it's using the contact player.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I have a guitar. Keep Forest. Evolution Atlantica. Wow. I love this guitar.
Double Doom.
I put it on everything.
That's how you knew to select that one.
Yeah. Your brass low, your trumpets, you want to layer your brass so it sounds big.
Are you panning those at all, or are they just naturally
a little
panned?
bit? I got left and right here, and then there's these down the center because they're full.
Mm-hmm.
And then French horns a little panned, and my trumpet. And then
It looks like you're keeping them mostly in the center, though. It looks like with the panning, like close to center.
Yeah, because I have all this drums and everything else kind of going so wide around it.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's smart for sure. You typically do want to keep the low end more in the center in terms of panning. So Yeah, it's really interesting. It's cool.
And you say that like, oh, I did that on purpose. That's not on purpose. I'm not that smart, guys. Like,
Well, you
oh yeah,
probably
it's good to
knew.
keep it down the center. I'm just like, yeah, yeah, sure. That's
Well,
exactly why I
you
did
probably just
it.
knew it
Sure.
sounded good to your ears, and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that's kind of it, man. Is like, I imagine you're wearing like it's like a cup, until it gets full with all the frequencies, and I'm like, okay, then we're good. And I don't, until it sounds good, I'm like, just keep
Yeah.
adding crap. That's why I have 135 tracks on here. Then the organ. So this little trick from my friend LJ Mitchell plays
Mhm.
for Elevation.
He's
Put a
their
little,
main keys player.
yeah. He told me, put a little grit on an organ, and then put some shimmer on there, and you get this real nice.
Okay. Wow, it's a huge difference. That's Valhalla shimmer.
Like this mix head does so much right here.
Just
Like,
adding some
without
more
it-
grittiness.
And then this guy's great. So
What is
this,
that doing?
This is a saturator from Plugin Alliance by Brainworks.
Okay.
This is adding a bunch of saturation on here. I love using this on a lot of things. I love using this on strings actually. If you guys are ever using strings and you want some like a little more bite and top end, especially if you're doing something hybrid and like it should sound a little more abrasive and it's like big and wide.
Yeah.
I'll put this on there for some stuff.
What is the difference between that saturator and then the mix head? Is the mix head just adding like more of a color, like a coloring saturation?
Yeah, we can say that. That sounds smart. Let's go with that one.
That's probably what it's doing.
Probably what it's doing. Um,
We're all using the Valhalla reverb, so they're familiar with that
Okay.
company. So you're just using Valhalla Shimmer, which is another plugin you can
Yeah.
buy through Valhalla.
Well, they also say I've heard. I don't know if I've just been told like keep all the reverbs with the same verb. If you're using Valhalla, keep everything Valhalla, and
Mhm.
again, you're gonna find Big Sky on here. You're gonna find Eventide. I use probably 3-4 different verbs every song,
Mhm.
just to get different things out of them. So
Nice.
again, just mess around until you find something you like.
Yeah.
Choir. These are important.
Sounds great.
This is 8DO is the company that does this.
Huh. Okay.
And it's the Lacrimosa choir. I like this. I saw this because Tommy Prophet, I don't know if you guys know who Tommy Prophet is, but he really likes this choir. And then he likes the Requiem. And so
Oh yeah, I've seen him using that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he turned me on to these by watching him do some stuff. So there's the choirs going there, and then these strings. I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing? Okay. So this is by Keep Forest as well. It's just this. It's called Berserker. It's like this Viking plugin. But you put like it's got that organic sound I was looking for.
Yeah.
And again, just kind of
Very
mashing
airy.
away at the keyboard till I found something I like. And then this. If I take them out, it's like just enough movement to keep it in the back of your brain going like, oh, there's something moving back there without being
Yeah.
aggressively in your face. That's another thing that LJ he kind of showed me too, is like, hey, when you're doing stuff, even like the slightest tremolo and like pulsing will keep, like, even if it's just tucked in there, it gives that groove to people, so it's not like just a static. And I think that's the thing too, is when I'm thinking of making soundscapes, I want things to be breathing a little bit more, so it sounds natural and it sounds like an environment around you. If you can try and build that. But then
Awesome.
let's see what this is.
You got a pad there.
Who knows what it's doing? That's a violin,
Oh, cool.
not a pad. This is a flatus. I really like these first chair violins. These are real nice on the legato setting here.
Yeah, that adds a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah. And then again, you're a lot of drums. These risers, these downers, vocal throws. Just some that's the soup. And then over here, it's just it's the same thing. And all I've added was a little bit more of my drones back right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then strings that are going a little crazier.
Okay. So walk us through how did you arrange those strings and know even like where to start? You're good. Yeah, like walk us through how you just arranged that string section so that it just sounds so huge. And then maybe talk about, in contrast, how did you add like the strings in the beginning that kind of set the stage for the song?
So, good question. Let's see. I think I started with this violin or this synth, wherever it was. This guy. So I had that on top of what she was singing. And I kind of messed around with, I wanted to see, what worked, first of all, because, you can write a string arrangement by itself, but when you put the vocal on top, it might not work. So I kind of had to just solo.
I met a devil woman, and she took my heart away.
So I tried to like live in between notes with her.
You ain't seen nothing yet, no.
Are you just soloing the vocal while
Yeah.
you produce with like the metronome, or?
Yeah, sometimes I'll do that, and I'll just have like the bass strings going, just to give me some reference of what where I'm at. But with this song, she was so like she's got such a good voice, man, and she had so much like energy in it. So it was kind of easy to write along to her because I just needed to write something that had urgency to it, and I think she sold the rest on it. But yeah.
She took my heart away. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet, no.
So then
she took my heart away. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet, no.
Some long strings.
Yeah. And again, just kind of holding. I'm not a great piano player, so I just hold, like, usually I'm gonna be very honest. I transpose everything to play the white keys, and then whenever I do some of these arrangements, I'll like hold the 1, and then I'll dance around the 3 and the 5.
Okay.
And like that's it. I'm just gonna be honest. It's just whatever.
It works.
wherever it feels like it should go, I move there, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And then you put some short strings in there. These are just following the chords.
Yeah.
Triplets, need triplets. And these strings are different at the beginning here. Like
Yeah.
these ones at the bottom change. So once I
Cool.
started adding the shorts, it was like, I had the dun 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 dun. I was like, all right, well, let me subdivide that, and then just half of that, and then something that was a little faster. And so you just kind of have to play around until they start sounding like they're locking in, I guess. But yeah, it can be overwhelming if you're listening like the whole song. So I usually just go with like vocals and a bass and staccato to get.
That's really a smart way to do it. So it sounds like you just started with the low end, got that sounding good, and then you added a high end melody kind of thing on your like the violin, and then you just like filled in the in between. Is that kind of
yeah?
Very
I try
cool.
to fill in, like okay, if these are going. At first they're kind of offset. And then they kind of all come back together and finish the rest of it together. But they start off a little bit different. And then this guy up here, he stays the same all the way through. But yeah, it's like kind of, you want them to interlock at some point and feel all right. And
yeah. And do you have the organ still going like through the whole song? Okay.
Yeah, so then the whole thing will sound like this with all those drums. Got all my basses, all my brass, all my kicks in there doing, those layered kicks really help when you do the triplets. That's the other thing too, is like if you're writing triplets, I usually MIDI program them in. Did I do it in this one? And sometimes I'll like audio drop the files and build triplets. But if it's a lot like this, it can get messy. So I just keep it MIDI. But if you're writing triplets with strings, it's usually easier to just solo everything like that and make your triplets.
Gotcha.
Then you kind of hear how heavy everything hits together. And the other thing too is when you're doing triplets on trailers, you want to kind of cut a lot of this stuff out as your triplet hits, so it's the only thing that's there. So like risers stop short there, the hi-hats break, like everything is stopped at that point.
Okay, gotcha.
And really sell that moment every time we hit it. So
right. Yeah.
But
what's that snare happening? That sounds pretty cool.
That's a great question. Which snare is it? This one?
Oh yeah.
That one, yeah.
What is that? Crazy.
That's a snare, not a kick. I don't know. I think I combined a couple things.
Interesting.
What did I use? Oh, sonar and a hard snare. from Cashmere, and then I don't know where I got this sonar sound, but together, I thought they sounded pretty cool.
Oh, okay. That's just a cashmere kick or a cashmere snare hit.
Yeah, like a really aggressive one that I found.
Nice.
Um, but I don't have it anywhere else. It's just these back half, so that way it really sells this last moment here.
You guys actually have that cashmere pack, by the way. I think I have that one available to download. Those cashmere samples. They're pretty useful.
Oh, there's a bunch of great samples in Cashmere for trailer stuff too. You just gotta dig.
Yeah.
But so that's that song.
And what were you using for that plugin where you can select different samples within it? That battery
Oh, Battery.
plugin. So that's just you can drag samples and layer them, or how does that work?
Yeah, man. I like this because let's open a new one so I don't screw anything up. Let's do file new. Okay. So like let's say I want all right, so this is the Weekend After Hours album, the drums samples from there. So let's say I want all the hi-hats. Well, then you can just click and just now I've got all of them there.
And you can kind of play them on your keyboard now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just smash around until I find them. They're there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're there.
All right, and then it's just nice because you can like batch drop a whole bunch of samples at the same time. So like,
Yeah. Okay.
and then you can within the samples, it's really nice. Does anyone have Battery? Is anyone using Battery? at
I
all?
have it because I bought one of
You have
the
it?
the complete packs back in the day of
Okay.
bundles. Yeah, it's a great one. We're using mostly Wave stuff, like in the Waves bundle, but um, there is a plugin in there where you can do something similar to this. I can show y'all.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, Logic's got great plugins. Like my go-to sometimes if I need a live kit, honestly, I just go here.
To the drum kit designer. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this thing is fine for real cymbals, and like I can't tell you how many times I wanted just a good snare roll and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna use Logic, and you
Yeah.
just dirty it up, it's good samples.
Yeah. We're using a lot of we're using Easy Drummer, but then also that one.
Yeah.
They're both great. It's crazy what you can do, yeah, with that stock drum kit.
Is everyone here in Logic, or who was talking about Cubase earlier?
Oh, Robin.
Robin.
Some people are in Pro Tools, some are in Logic.
Who's in Pro Tools? Where's the circles?
Robin, and then a couple of my other students who have PCs.
Oh, you guys are crazy.
You mainly use Logic.
Yeah, I use Logic for this, and then we mix at work in Pro Tools for TV and film, like dialogue and all that stuff. We're in Pro Tools.
Well, it's amazing what you can do these days with Pro Tools. It's actually way more comparable.
Yeah,
but there are way more stock plugins though with Logic. That's the thing.
Yeah, their drums, like their drum synth is pretty cool, and then I believe they have like almost their own version of Battery. I just don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
It's Quick Sampler, I think.
Yeah, I think you're.
Is it Drum Machine?
I think it's Drum Machine. Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Oh wow, that looks crazy.
They do have a sample one, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look up what it is. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, there are lots of different plugins where it lets you do the same thing. You just drop samples into it, then you could play them on your keyboard. Yeah, I'll have to look up as well.
Do you go back and forth? Like a lot of times I'll use, Battery or whatever, but sometimes I'd just rather drop the samples. Like,
Yeah.
too much to go and like put it all into battery and do that stuff. Like, I don't do that.
Yeah, I tend to do that. I just drag and drop,
Yeah.
honestly, from like a folder. I'll just
Yeah.
pull up the folder from my hard drive, drag and drop it. I do
Yeah.
that a lot of times, and that works fine. But yeah, the all the risers as well. You're just dragging and dropping all those essentially.
Yeah. All the big hits that I wanted that are, I mean, they've got, I mean,
Yeah,
like if I want signals or alarms, signals are these things. Like, I'm just gonna drop that. Watch it crash my computer.
no,
Yeah, I just drop, and then if you need to tune it, tune it.
yeah,
It's just faster.
gotcha. Yeah, res signals. That's good to know. That's a really cool effect.
That was kind of thing too. I had to learn what all the names were when I was getting into the genre of like there's signals, there's whoops. Signals, alarms, the brands, the benders, the resonators, like all those do different things. And I was like navigating all that crap. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. So how do you know the moment where you'd want to drop a sample like that in, like this, a signal sample or whatever? Are there any rules in this, or is it more like, oh, that sounds cool, I'm gonna do that?
Like I know there's rules to it. If you watch, there's a few guys I've watched their classes on that are great. And they're pretty simple things of like, okay, you want your hits to hit, and then you have something that comes off of it like a resonator, or sometimes not. And it's you can use all these tools, which I think is great. But again, I'm not the like best versed person on exactly how to do things. Like I just like to throw things on and be like, hey, this sounds good, and I've heard it done on other things like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like someone said the best way to like find out like your sound is to fail at trying doing someone else's. And I think that's kind of what I do a lot of like, oh, that sounds cool. Let me try and replicate it. And I'm like, it doesn't sound anything like it, but it sounds like what I needed it to sound like.
Yeah.
Or, you get to a point where it's all play, man. It's just, it's how playful can you be with it, and how much can you dream about making it sound as crazy as you want, and then actually getting that sound out of your head. That's really what I think the rule is, just to keep dreaming. If there's any rules of this, it's just dream. Which is, I know, sounds hokey.
No, that's so true though. Inspiration, everything is so important. Did that artist give you a reference or anything to start on, or?
Nah, man, we pulled up this song. My agency gave me a list, and they're like, hey, what do you, whatever you want to do with these. So Nicole and I, we kind of had the same conversation. She's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. Let's just sit and kind of talk through it. And then I was like, well, it could be cool if we did it with acoustic. And that's when I started playing that. But we didn't. And then once we heard the acoustic, then it moved into, oh, Johnny Cash, Hurt. Oh, God's Gonna Cut You Down. Okay, cool. Then you put, I find like a video that looks like it would match the world I want it to live in. And then I start playing and building sounds. But yeah, her and I didn't really have a reference walking into this. We didn't really really know what was going to come out of it.
Yeah. Well, you guys did a good job. You definitely nailed it. Whatever you're going for.
Yeah. I don't know what we're going for, but
and this wasn't for a particular brief. It sounds like they didn't give you a brief at all. They're just like, give us something that sounds awesome.
Yeah, they didn't give me a brief for this one. They just said they are getting more and more requests that are in the like Yellowstone world of things like this, like the Western. Like there's another show that came out, Wranglers. Yeah, the one that we were pitching for.
Oh yeah.
Like there's shows like that. They're just popping up, and they just need stuff like this.
Right.
But right now I'm working on like a Grey's Anatomy brief for in show, which is not like this at all.
What is that genre?
What is that genre? That's a good question. I don't really know that it's like emotional cinematic.
So probably like less intense than this, less battery drums,
Yeah,
or
a lot
probably no
less.
battery drums.
Let's see. Yeah, can you hear this?
Yep.
If you leave me in the rain, I might fade away, trying to be stronger. Too afraid of change, stay within my frame, hide from all the monsters. Delicate, I am a pessimist. You came in, definite, ready to save me. I didn't wanna let you in, didn't wanna let you in, I didn't wanna let you in, but I've got paper skin.
Can you get the
Ready to save me. Didn't wanna let you in. Didn't wanna let you in. Didn't wanna let you in. But I've got paper skin. Doesn't matter what I get. Feel nobody's listening. So I don't wanna let you in. But I didn't wanna let you in. Didn't wanna let you in. Didn't
you
wanna
do this,
let
and you're like, oh, it could work.
in. But I've got
Yeah.
paper skin. Doesn't matter what I get. Feel nobody's listening. So I don't wanna let you in.
Spoiler alert.
Paper skin.
I hope everyone's caught up. So like, there's
Jeez.
that.
Yeah, that definitely is very Grey's Anatomy once you pull it up.
Yeah, it's very Grey's Anatomy.
They're very big on sync briefs. Still,
yeah.
huh?
But then I do like K-pop stuff. I'm working on like this one right now.
Oh yeah, show us something.
Sorry, I don't know how. Is everyone good on time? Questions?
Yeah,
Does anyone want to see?
we'll probably do like
anything?
you could share this, then we'll do some questions.
Oh, actually, let me go. I'll go to Madeline. I really like where this one landed. This one's called "Where Heroes Go to Die." Let's see. What'd you say?
Oh, so you wrote? Did you write
So
for
this
a
was
video
for
game
a
brief?
video game brief, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I wanted something that was like, it starts off real aggressive.
Yeah.
and then-
They write your story in the flames. Another fire starts to fade, and everybody meets their grave. At the edge of the sun, I will see you again. When we all turn to dust, is it all for nothing?
that's
Nice.
that's the fun part with sync too, is like there's so many different genres
Yeah.
that work, that get like songs that get turned into trailers are, just regular pop songs I'm learning right now, or even just like regular rap songs are being used as trailers.
Hmm.
But if you can write with like a cinematic, like with cinematics in mind, like I don't know how much you guys talk about sync in here, but it's definitely a very fun world to get into.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going in that direction. Right now it's more like uh artist songs, but I'm always encouraging and I want to encourage people to write songs that could go into the sync world because then that's
Yeah.
double income opportunities if you're writing a song for you that can also be in a TV show potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a win-win. But
This is a very win-win.
but yeah, does anybody have any questions at all for Johnny Collier?
Yeah, I've been making a lot of like electronic music recently, and I mean it's not quite sync, but I definitely like, you know, I could see how it could maybe like fit along with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my biggest problem is like I see that like when you're adding a lot of layers to your songs and stuff like that, and not just to, bring up more sound, but everything is just like really, really blended well together, like yeah, like how is it not like peaking, when it's all that noise is coming together and
Mhm.
like clashing together, like how are you like blending that all like, just how you want it, but also sounds like really clean, really smooth.
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Um, I think I need to find a way to answer this because the guy who mixes my stuff, he asked me the same thing. He was like, "Hey, he's like, how do you make it all fit?" And I was like, "Dude, again,
Mhm.
just the like,
Using your ear, you're just
it's just, yeah, man, of sitting there and going
yeah.
like, all right, I know the rules that we know. Like, okay, if this bass is doing this, right here. Like if I know this guy's doing that, and let's see where I cut him off. Oh, did I just clip out my whole computer? I think I did.
Oh, there it is.
So I know if that's doing that, I'm like, okay, I'm letting a lot of that live there, but I really want this high end. So I'm like carve a little bit out of here, and I could probably even go more.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is playing with frequencies that, like, once I get. Well, let me ask you this: are you talking about on the mix side or on the actual instrumentation side of like how things work together?
um I guess more of the mix.
Okay.
I guess more of the yeah.
So yeah, mix wise, it is that then. It's like carving out frequencies that I know my mix engineer is not going to have to work very hard on to go change. He's going to just be like, okay, I don't have to like, I'm not going to work very hard on this
Mhm.
because a lot of it's cut out. And it's not always right. Like I learned that the other day, there's something you can do with like Pro Q3 that it can be in, I guess if you change it to,
That's his EQ plugin he's using.
yeah, if you go to linear phase, it like doesn't flip the phase when you bounce it, but I don't know if that is actually true or not, so I just leave it and I let him deal with that. But um if you're the best thing I could say is like just spend that time with finding what you like that sticks out and what doesn't stick out, that you're like, okay, like where are you hearing your, like, is it snare or kick or like the bass isn't cutting through enough or the synth's not cutting through enough?
Yeah, like, well, I feel like my bass is like too heavy a lot of
Yeah.
times. So like
Mhm.
it's kind of just like over masking like some, other things. And so like I'll cut down uh I'll try to like bring it down volume wise. But if I've also been told that isn't always the solution, just bringing the volume down.
Yeah. Are you running, do you have vocals with your music too?
Sometimes I'm mostly just been using loops for those, but not like
Okay.
yeah.
Where's your bass? Like what's so I didn't go over this with you guys. So everything is bussed to these 5 or 6. I have my drum bus, my bass bus, my keys, my strings, my vocals, and my FX.
Gotcha.
Um, and then on each of these, I control how much saturation is happening on that. So like you can see on my faders how far down I have it from. Everything's pulled down almost 5 dB. Um, and then the vocals kind of sit at 0 to sit on top of the mix. So I can get things to cut based off of this. And I'm also running through this is my master chain right here
Yeah.
right now. And again, this is just for my mix down, and then someone else mixes it for me and gets even better than what I could imagine. But
Yeah.
are you sending your bass down like this or anything?
No, I'm
You're
just
probably sending it more to
yeah,
like your master channel, right, Patrick?
right, yeah,
Right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
yeah, that's a great way. I think that is the answer to your question, Patrick, because what Johnny's doing is he's doing group busing, and there'll be videos and stuff that I go over that you'll get to, but he's essentially just sending all of the related instruments to one bus, like a stereo bus, and then he might be compressing that or EQing that so that he's getting those things to like glue together. So all the
Yeah.
drums are being glued together by the same compressor. All the basses are being glued together by the same compressor or EQ or whatever he's
That
using.
bus
Yeah,
glue.
he's using a
Literally,
glue.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. So he's using a glue compressor, and in my
Yep.
template, that would be the SSL compressor that you see on there. You just do the same thing. You just
Mhm.
send those to the same group bus, and then throw the SSL compressor on there in my template. Compress
Yeah.
it by like -2, -3 dB.
Yeah, if
Um,
that.
yeah, if that, then it just kind of glues everything together.
You
And
give it the portrait, and then you kind of add everything else around there, so it's like sticks together. You don't just keep like adding more portraits before you even begun the picture.
yeah,
Yeah, kind of
yeah, exactly. Like you kind of want
another
to,
compressor, some random stuff. Yeah,
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 and everything's being
yeah.
compressed like on the way in. If I go look at my compressors up here,
right.
like it's already it's got the base leveler on it, so it's being compressed here by I don't know. That was my whole bus playing.
Oh, so you're just kind of crushing that one a bit, by like
Yeah,
-6. So there's a lot of
a lot
compression
of
on there.
compression, but without it, it's just a little like more wobbly up top.
Yeah,
This kind
that's
of
making
smooths it
it
out a
tighter.
little. And then this, without this,
Oh wow, yeah. There's not much life to it.
no. So this saturator, that's the other thing too, man. If you're, I don't know, Logan could probably talk to you about the like subharmonic distortions that happen in the frequencies of, whatever Lucky Charm land you want to live in over there, talking about this stuff. But
Yeah.
all I know is if you put some saturation on it, it helps, and it's a little distortion, and Logan, I know the subharmonic frequencies. You and Graham would always talk to me about that. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, just you mean distortion, like a metal pedal? Yeah, I'll put that on there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually made this one a little wide. Normally, I would go pretty mono with it, but with this one, I wanted it to be thicker. So that's the other thing too, man. Is messing around with your depth of
Space,
field.
the
Yeah, your
depth of
space.
field, yeah.
Like, how much do you want it to live out there? Because some songs you want it to be like this wide. Some songs you want it to be just down to knocking
And
your skull down.
you guys all have access to that plugin too in the Waves
Yeah.
bundle, the S1 Imager. You could use that to widen your pads. I've done that
Yeah.
sometimes. You could widen your
Nice.
piano if you want the piano to be more stereo width, have more width. You could do
That's on
that.
my strings too. Yeah, my strings is going.
Yep. You can widen those.
I got those pretty wide.
Go ahead and mute it like compare them with it on and off with your for your strings.
Okay. String buzz.
But it's a little
Very
more.
subtle. Like it's not a lot.
Yeah, it's more subtle, but
But if
just
I
slightly widens them a bit more in the stereo image.
like Logan said, it's really just gluing it together. It's barely touching this, it's breathing on it basically.
Yeah,
And that goes a long way. That makes a huge
It goes
difference.
a huge, yeah.
it really does.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
even this, if I show you guys this, like, okay, this little plugin right here, the mix head. If I play this, it's the smallest, tiniest little, like, you might not even notice it, but for me, I'm like, it feels right. And then
it
even
adds a
like,
little more color and depth, like to
yeah,
the
if
whole mix. Like, yeah,
I take this
just
out,
slightly. Oh, you got the God particle on there.
yeah. Fuller. It's probably a little too bright, to be honest, because we actually went a little darker with the final mix,
Hmm.
but this was good enough for everyone to hear. Like when I submitted it for feedback, both agencies had no notes for it, so like I
Yeah.
at least can get it to a point where they would take this mix, albeit bright. But I don't like mixing my stuff because I don't consider myself a mix engineer. I have a guy I send it to, and he gets my sound, darkens it a little bit, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
Cool.
But saturation on your bass, man, that might help sending it down some different auxes. Compressing your kicks so differently too can always help.
Yeah, I'm getting into that in the mixing module where we go into, yeah, group compression, saturation. Those two
Yeah.
things are really helpful to glue a mix together. And I'm using those on my group buses, on my mastering channel, just
What
like Johnny's doing.
what's the rest of you guys? What do you guys all make music? Like what genre do you guys make? The rest of you, Robin, what do you make?
Right now I do Christian R&B.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like give me, for instance, like give me an artist I can
Yeah.
look up.
Yeah. So I kind of love like SZA, like that kind of stuff. Her,
Okay.
yeah, like that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
yeah.
And you sing?
Mm-hmm.
She's got an awesome
And you-
voice.
Nice. And you
Thank you.
produce?
I'm trying to. Logan and I are kind of getting into the modules and stuff. So now I'm diving into it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fun genre. That's big for sync too.
Honestly, like I really want to get into sync. I just don't know. I never like learned how to do it. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
producing is step one for sure. I mean, there's artists that I'm working with now that are well, I'll get into that later. I'll talk.
You wish they could produce, is what you're saying.
Don't put
Or
that
at
on
least
the
record.
internet. Don't record this part.
I won't.
No, I think it's important because even at the very least, you should know how to cut your vocals and comp your vocals. And if that's a huge thing. If I've rambled and said anything during this hour and a half, drums and vocals, I think, are some of the most important things because,
Yeah.
like, when you're in a grocery store, what do you hear? You hear the drum, you hear the kick, the snare, and the vocals, and maybe the bass. Like you don't hear anything else.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's very true.
Yeah, and like vocal production, man. Oh, I hate vocal production so much. Like it to me, it's like burpees. Like if you want to do 100 burpees, well, you got to start with one, and that's like vocal comping of like, oh my god, you got 100 tracks. You got to get through them, but you at least got to start.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does anyone else here struggle with vocal comping? Or is it just me?
I just
Yeah.
started looking into Logan's module for vocal comping,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, maybe because I'm like a novice at it, but I actually find it really like fun because you're just kind of picking apart everything to
Yeah.
Hey,
just smash it. It's like,
if you can get really good at like, I mean, everyone has their thing. Like you go into a writing room and like someone's really good at writing verses and someone's really good at writing bridges and someone's really good at writing the hook and someone's really good at writing just guitar lines. And it's like some
Mhm.
people are just really, really good at vocal production and that's their thing. And like you can get really good at that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's half the battle right there.
Sweet.
It is super helpful to know. I did that. That was like my day job at Elevation. Johnny's day job was
Yeah.
soundscaping. Mine was vocal
Yeah.
production.
Yeah. Jessica, what about you and Elisha? What do you guys do?
Um, so we're worship leaders, but also I've just been I pretty much write whatever genre I'm listening to, like obsessed with at the time. Like,
Yeah.
so if I'm obsessed with big band music, that's what I'm writing. If I'm like just cannot stop listening to Gable Price and Friends, that's what I'm writing.
Mm.
Like, so yeah, that's kind of my thing. But like my natural, like if I'm just me, it's definitely more singer-songwriter, kind of an Appalachian gospel vibe, like that drop D tuning. Like I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my heart.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, but I do have some like R&B songs, and definitely some country songs, and yeah, kind of all over the place, but
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great though. And Elisha, what about you?
Man, my main influences as far as bands go. I mean, I started probably with like, Coldplay, Muse, Mute Math.
yeah,
Those guys I'm mostly the guitarist,
Yeah.
instrumentalist. So those are those kind of big three. Now, like I
Cool.
said, really like indie alt rock, you have Gable Price and Friends, Chris Renzema, kind of really those kind of almost fringe like indie alt rock
Yeah.
singer-songwriter guys. I'm really into those right now.
Cool.
But I've always like my heart has always been like explosions in the sky.
Oh,
This
yes.
this will destroy you. Sigur
Yes.
Ross, all that cinematic stuff, bro. Oh man,
Yeah.
I heart comes alive there.
What
What's his name? Kenyon Reed right now. Is
okay.
producing. He did that instrumental album that was like all of those blended, and I was geeking out for like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Did you like Fred Again's album with Brian Eno? Did you
Dude,
listen?
I don't know, but I need to listen to it now.
Oh man. Dude, if did you ever listen to Stars of the Lid?
I haven't.
Dude,
Did you? Go
if
ahead.
you like all those bands, you just Stars of the Lid,
Okay.
they changed the whole sound. Can you guys hear this? I'm sorry, I'm
I
just
got
gonna
you.
play this.
Yeah.
This is all analog. This is all synth machines. Like,
Oh, I love that.
it's just if you want some like really good soundscape, just listen to Stars of the Lid.
Inspiration. That's great. I'm gonna look them up.
I got them
This-
saved.
That's my vibe. That's
This
cool.
album came out 2001 too. They were like way ahead of
Wow.
time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pioneers. I
Yeah,
gotta
for
say,
real.
I gotta say this one thing that I've noticed. Now, you guys both work for Elevation, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, were you producing some of like their instrumentalist stuff, maybe for like live recordings or studio?
Oh no.
No,
You're like,
I don't do anything for the worship side
okay,
unless they're doing Instagram reel and it's like, hey, can you trailerize this track? And it goes on Instagram. Then I'll
okay.
touch that.
So I don't have to blame you for the 10 guitar tracks that are buried in every live song that none of us live players can actually do for real.
No, that's someone else to blame. But
That's
Johnny could
E.
probably pass the word
I
on.
can pass the word to E.
Yeah, man, let them know.
No,
We got been struggling.
no, E and I were working on what were we working on? It was for some Easter or something. I don't know.
Mm.
I was reimagining a song. I needed him to play guitar on it. And we started laying down guitar. And yeah, man, that guy got into like 7 tracks deep. And I'm like, Yeah, that's a lot, man. I'm like, there's only two of you on stage, bro. He's like, oh no. He's like, what? One more layer, man. And then he like plays this amazing pad, and you're like, well, yeah, I'm keeping it, obviously, but that's number 10. So
Yeah, he's got a great ear.
oh, he's great. Yeah, great to work with too. He's just nicest dude ever.
Yeah. Patrick, did you have a quick question?
Not, nothing more that I can kind of think of. I mean, that's basically that's like the biggest thing I've been working on recently is like, the basics of mixing and,
Yeah.
just when things come together, not clipping, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you using a limiter? Have you guys gotten to that, Logan?
Well, they're getting into that. A lot of them kind of just started
Okay.
the first module.
I guess I probably should have asked that. Yeah, like where's everyone's experience level with producing?
Yeah, Robin's a little further along, but
Yeah.
the others are kind of just jumping in. But yeah,
Yes.
we probably have like a couple more minutes. Did anyone else have a pertinent question burning?
Well, if you don't, I'll say this. Good luck to everyone, and it's a grind, but don't give up. But it's worth it. But holy crap, yeah, you gotta. I had to learn to love it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's been 4 years of learning how to love sitting in a chair for 10 hours a day,
Yeah,
but it's worth it.
yeah,
But
it is worth it. And yeah, like you mentioned earlier, there are different strengths that everybody has. So yeah, learn to play into that. Find out what your strength is, what you really enjoy doing, and then capitalize on
Yeah.
that. Like if you hate playing keys, then you could just hire someone to do that for you. You could just outsource it.
100%. Yeah.
Like I do that all the time for my productions. I'm not a keys player really, so I'll just pay someone. They'll send me the files, throw it in the session, and boom, I have a keys track. Same for like guitar. You could hire Elisha to do it for
Yeah.
you, and he'll send you a track, and you plug it in your session, and boom, you didn't have to play guitar, but he loves doing that, and he's using his strengths, and you're using yours. So yeah, outsourcing is also key. You don't have to feel that pressure of like doing everything. Although that will save you more money, but it's all a trade-off, and uh, yeah, not everyone's, what's his face? What'd you say? The guy who produces for Taylor Swift, Jack Antonoff.
Oh, Jack Antonoff.
Not everyone's
Yeah.
like him, where he just plays everything.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, well, awesome guys, thanks for hopping on, and this was great. I'm going to be using a lot of this content for the advanced production module anyway, so you'll have a chance to rewatch it. And yeah, I'm going to be doing this more in the next month or two. I'm going to be bringing on other producers. They're going to be sharing what they do well, what they love doing like this. So thank you, Johnny, for hopping
Thanks
on.
for having me,
That was
guys.
amazing.
Nice meeting you all. Yeah, if
Appreciate
you
it.
have any other questions, ask Logan, and he'll let me know. So
Yep.
thank you,
Sounds
guys.
good.
Thanks, man.
Thanks
Thanks.
so much.
Oh, Robin, if you wanted to hang on, I can answer your question too.
Perfect.
I'm
Thanks.
gonna dip out. My wife's waiting.
All right.
How do I
have
get
a
out
good
of
one.
here?
All
Oh,
right.
where's the door? Okay, bye.